Good morning, friends. It is Rev Nick here, and I wanted to touch base because it is Thursday morning. And that means that last night we had our town hall, our first town hall in a really long time. We invited everyone from the church community to join us for a Zoom call for a time of checking in, for a time of seeing each other's faces, because God knows it's been a long time. A time of celebrating and giving thanks, but also looking ahead to what is next. And I know a lot of you couldn't be there, and that's okay. A lot of you showed up and it was amazing. But for those of you who weren't there, I wanted to take like 2 minutes and just give you a quick overview of things that we talked about so you can be on the same page with us. Because that was a big goal of that meeting. To, after a really long year, to come together on the same page and get ready to step out into what is next. And so at our town hall, we took some time to celebrate and give thanks, to look at all our staff, our leadership, and our volunteers, all these people who made getting through the past year possible. All these people who allowed us to still be here. And that's a feat. Let's just take a moment to name that again, because we can't name this enough. A lot of other churches in the world, they didn't make it. They didn't have the resources, they didn't have the capacity getting through the pandemic and all the changes that brought. It was just too much. But we did it. We even thrived. Whole new groups have joined us, whole new ministries have risen up. We've made connections. We didn't just survive this, but we thrived through it, and we are still here. And so we took some time to celebrate that and give thanks for all the people who donated, who worked, who showed up, who persevered, who struggled through it, to allow us to still be here and be a source of love, light, and love in the world. And that's just so awesome. So we took some time to celebrate that and give thanks to everybody who made that happen. But we also looked ahead. And we named something that a consultant that we're working with to help us manage all this, we named something that he gave to us. That this is a time not for decision making, but this is a time for discernment. This is not a time for making decisions, but this is a time for discernment. And now discernment, it's a spiritual word, it's a religious word that we use a lot in our tradition. And what it really means is deep, active listening. Of trying to pay attention to what the Spirit is doing in us and around us, taking some time to be curious, to ask big questions, to rumble with huge issues, and not be too anxious to move, but just take some time to listen, to reflect, to wonder, to struggle well, and let the answer kind of rise up within us. To do that hard work of paying attention to where God could be leading us before we move on our own. And so as a church board and as your staff, what we're encouraging everyone to do is join us in this time of discernment. To wonder aloud, to struggle with this huge question of, who does God want us to be right now? What kind of church do we need to be in this new world that we're entering into? Because the reality is, the world has changed. We have changed. There have been huge economic shifts, political shifts, social, cultural shifts, and even spiritual shifts. And because all of that has changed, the church needs to change with it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to be brand spanking new and everything needs to be reinvented. But what it does mean is we need to pay attention to that. We need to ask, hey, what needs to be left behind? What doesn't serve us anymore? What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to start doing? What have we done during this pandemic that we should actually take with us? How do we keep all those people who have joined us online from all over the world? How do we still let them be a part of our community? How do we be what's called a hybrid church, a church that's online and in person? How do we do that? What kind of people are going to show up? Who's coming back? What kind of rhythms do we need to adopt? And so those and many, many, many more questions are the kinds of questions that the leadership is going to be rumbling with. And we want you to join us in, because those are really good and important and life-giving questions. That's how we're going to get through what is next. And so how we left the town hall is by inviting people to join us in this process of discernment, of wondering, of having permission to be like, I don't know the answers. Let's figure it out together. And through figuring it out together, through listening to that Spirit, to do that hard but beautiful work of figuring out how do we want to be the church together as we head into this new world that is rising up. And so we will have many, many more conversations coming up. That was just the first of many. But we do want you to join us in this work as we figure out, how do we be the church? How do we come back from all of this? What's it going to look like? How do we get through it? What kind of staff do we need? What needs to get left behind? What needs to get carried forward? And how, through it all, do we hold on to our values? Do we hold on to our vision? Do we hold on to that essence of who Red Deer Lake is? And do we be the kind of people in church that Jesus calls us to be? And so stay tuned for lots more coming your way. It's a really exciting time. I gotta tell you, as overwhelming and scary and anxious as it is, it makes me really excited. Never before have we kind of entered into this era where we get to reinvent ourselves from the ground up and really try to have an opportunity to be the best church that we can be and really take a huge step forward. This is a really good opportunity, not only for us, but for our future, for our kids, for future members of our church community. Yeah, it's going to be a huge opportunity. This is such a good place to be, and I want you to be here with me and with the church. So stay tuned. I'm just rambling now, as I do, so stay tuned. It's going to be a really good time for us as we enter into the summer and do this hard but important work. So if you have questions, if you have ideas, send them my way. Send them our way. Let us know what you think we could do. Let us know what kind of justice issues we can get involved with. Let us know what communities in and around us that we can begin to serve. Let us know about the kinds of issues you want us to explore. And through all of that, we can do this work together. And so to all of you who showed up last night, thank you. To all of you who are going to be asking these questions with me, thank you. Have an awesome day, and may grace and peace be with you.